This is July 21st, 2026. You know, today Carl had counseling at the VA. When we go to walk out, there's a guy behind the door off to the right. I'm going to try to steal all that money for that family. They sent in a tape of Weird with yourself. Oh, God. So you arrested him, right? Andrew Dreerbeck, Ravenna had 7 victims. Cyber stalking, sextortion. He was getting naked pictures or improper pictures, photoshopping or whatever he was doing with them. Set off hate crimes, sent them out in emails, threatened these people, and some teenager killed himself. The FBI arrested him. He's in federal prison. So where you made that foolish comment that somebody sent in a tape like that, you arrested him, right? For cyber stalking, sextortion, illegal monitoring, felony evasion of privacy, wiretapping. You put him in federal prison. Because how would he get it? You don't get special permission to be in somebody's home. That's a lie. Portage County Sheriff's didn't know anything about it. And what you did was illegal. And it is placing agencies only under a threat of life with statements in a court order. Ravenna placed our county prosecutor's office, criminal attorney. These are federal crimes. You don't get special permission. They don't trust somebody. They don't allow them. And they definitely don't let a prostitute and her dad hiring drug dealers that already confessed and laughed in front of everyone, including sheriffs. They hired drug dealers to do it, and they photoshopped a washing in the shower. Agent John's girlfriend actually confessed. June 26, 26. So what the fuck were you doing in the VA lying to him? June 3rd, 26. I'm in Magnolia, Valstor, Tuscarawas County. Several times there's investigators in there. Other people are in there, how they're mad they found out they're stealing for Katie's family. Well, the prostitute is her family member. Get the idea why all the church people were willing to go in there and lie, trying to steal for Katie's family. It's her family member. Get the idea. And it was her family member that was in debt to drug dealers. Now, we're going to put it this way. What else did they say? They found an investigator from 18 that works my case and works with the FBI. March 20th, 26. He comes in by the electronics, Walmart West Husk. They found him through that surveillance. Who he was. He told him that none of this is funny. Melissa and her kids are documenting me games of pretend, and that I had never hurt anybody. And it was the drug cartel, human traffickers doing this to me. The people that were selling people. That's who was doing it to me. And everybody's like, oh, Karen, we're so sorry. So that guy that was in the VA lying to them. Who the fuck do you think you are running around, running around? Why? And shame on them for not calling the cops. Unless they're trying to get information out of you for the FBI. Shame on them. That they didn't throw you out. I'm trying to steal all that money for that family. For what family? See, that's where they lie, oh, we're going to steal it for John and Melissa. You can't steal money for people. It's extortion. See, these people don't act like they know a law one. And Melissa's, like they said, that investigator documented me jokes. And that I had never heard anyone. And it's the drug traders and human traffickers that were selling people doing this to me. Where Agent John's prostitute girlfriend laughing how it's her family stealing everything for her. June 26, 26. Dutch Valley Restaurant, cackling it out that they hired drug dealers to do this to me. And they taped her in the shower washing herself. Photoshopped that in the other room to make fun of her. And then cackle and cackle. Like the Stark County Sheriff said July 5th, 26. That girl that was laughing in the restaurant, she stole all our money, is that agent's girlfriend that he has to pay to date. And an investigator had already told people she was a prostitute. And then someone later said it was Henry Maffei's daughter. See, that's where people were laughing. And Officer Mark and John and all that, or Officer Mark and the guys, showed up January 20th, 26, because after January 1926, Henry Maffei admitted he never met me in person. He's supposed to be, I found out, that P guy Dave hired on his own. And Agent John's girlfriend's dad. In the drug cartel of all things. And see, that's where I had offered a willing statement of staying there while they got surveillance, knowing I was facing personal injury risk in my life, knowing the First Amendment freedom of speech. That agent was only bullying me. The agency would compensate me and pay me, trying to take the case out of fraud from where they defrauded me. You know, do you want me to give you a lecture of how bad you look, FBI? Do you know what children have said about you? From the FBI betrayer. Different towns, different places, because they sold the login. And it's live streaming on the internet. I can say something tonight in my car, and somebody will repeat it in a different town the next day. Where that Michelle, Agent John's girlfriend, admitted this whole thing was her family's debt to drug dealers. She had never met me in person, and they had my skull bashed in and raped and tortured because they were in debt to drug dealers. That they even human traffic people to pay back those debts to drug dealers. That they were the ones inciting my husband's new family to threaten his life, to steal his farm because she wanted it for herself. Like it made it okay. And that she knew the original cartel photoshopped everything. And that it was documented fraud, medical malpractice, and medication errors. That made me sick before. And they did that. She knew they encouraged us to sue those doctors for years. She's been playing everybody. That was September 30th, 25 at 1 in the morning. And see, that's where the FBI and police already knew that in 18. They knew it was a drug cartel scam, like Officer Mark said, August 22nd, 23, something like that. That it's documented and verified she was framed before, and it was a drug cartel in her home before we seen him. It was a drug cartel scam. Just like that investigator that works with the FBI. Where that agent March 27th, 25 got it out of that family. Why would you say that it offended you? Strange calling her a faker, and it was 6 months later after a traffic accident she had nothing to do with. So they all were lying to the FBI to help them get away with this. It didn't even concern them. Got it out of my ex-husband that he was letting a girlfriend from before me, used my insurance for all those years. That's where all, she even made him marry me so he could get the job at my dad's factory so she'd have the free insurance. It wasn't random identity theft. It was David frauding me. And he had got it out of another Michelle he was dating that the doctor from before was not one of mine, works for them, and they had lied. He was one of my doctors. And she actually don't know who he is. And when they bashed in her head, they tried to kill her or leave her incompetent. It didn't work. As soon as she told him, he broke up with her and he was going to find an agent, one of the agents that worked her case, and tell him. Well, that agent showed up. Walmart West Tusk, March 20th, 26, by the electronics. Real loud. Haven't found one bit of this funny since an FBI agent showed up in my office. And got it out of that family that they were all lying to the FBI when they were in there, that it offended them, strange calling her a faker. It didn't even concern them. They were lying to help these people get away with it. I don't know, strange hated the government. No wonder he tried it with us. See, the FBI knows about the other John they brought in, bringing in the other John so we get away with it. The guy's taller, looks really similar to him, full bearded, like John had at the time, walked by in Walmart. Okay? And he walked by me, put his nose up in the air. I thought, you do look like my son. What on earth? Okay? Well, last year, June 13th, 14th of 25, I'm talking to Carl about John defending me on Thanksgiving of 18, then even asked me to be a reliable name on a court record to babysit his kids if he went for custody. And I couldn't help him. I was working 2 jobs, and I could just feel his heartbreak, him pleading with me, but Mom, these are my kids. I don't have a reliable name to put on a court record to pick them up after school and babysit them, I'll lose him forever. And he's pleading with me, and it's like, John, I'll lose my apartment. I barely make it now. I'm so sorry. I don't get off my first job, let alone my second job. In the end, I couldn't help him. He lost his kids. He moved to Florida years ago. Met this other woman, got married. They started a church and had a baby. He looks happier than ever. People pulling katanas. If John's been in Florida for years, who's that riding around with him asking him to kill her? They were setting John up for murder. And he's not even here. May 24th, 26, we pull in Myers, North Main, and North Canton. We pull in, I see that guy. I said, Carl, that pretend John, that guy looks like him without a beard. He said, he does look like your son. He's walking in with a white girl with black hair. Okay. We go in, and there's a guy following in behind me. He said the original police were here a couple years ago. Can you imagine? They were here that worked her case. They were telling everybody they knew this whole thing was a scam. And it's ridiculous for anybody to insult her. She almost died to save children. They already knew this whole thing was a scam. They were actually here. And we go in, and there's that guy, we're walking around the fruit and veggies. He walks up to me. How did it go years ago? Oh, yeah. I thought, oh my God, it's you. The white girl with black hair picks up her phone. How crazy were they bringing the pretend John in to verify it in front of the police and the FBI? Oh, they were making fun of her because Agent John stole her money. See, that's where they're laughing. If I don't get paid, the case gets thrown out. See, that's where June 3rd, 23, my son John was an electrician. He was a union rep, had 3 offices, manager, even taught college, thousands of connections. Okay. Couple electrical companies pull in to Louisville gas station, June 3rd, 23. Isn't that John's mom? He said she's never hurt anybody. He said it's just because of these people and what these people are doing. He may never see his mom again. And that's his mom. I know. And he said that she's never hurt anybody. They were talking down in Magnolia that when they got a hold of that investigator, that John was running around in 18 telling everybody that I never hurt anyone. See, I don't think that prostitute and those drug dealers drugging me up and telling me to say stuff and Photoshop washing and then have mean games of pretend later on are funny. She's very sick, finding humor in this. Very, very sick. Because they're stealing everything from me. They personally picked her out to do it for a tour so that they could steal from me. That was their picked out victim. That was their perfect victim. Like they said, she's a perfect person. Nobody comes sees her. Nobody calls her. Nobody steps in. We could isolate her alone until we could kill her or take her, and they wouldn't know until it's too late. She's perfect to do this to her. She said they picked me out. They announced that in 18, and it's because they could isolate me alone. Now, do I find this funny that that guy was in there lying to the VA? And shame on you for not throwing him out, for stalking me. Now, does the Starr County Sheriff's know that Melissa's mean games of pretend? Yeah. Do they know it's photoshopped or washing in the shower? Yeah. Does the Massillon police? Yeah. Does the FBI? Yeah. So who the hell was in that office? One of the scammers. Trying to scam money out of the government for Agent John's girlfriend for everything's to steal from me. They're trying to get the case thrown out so the drug dealers walk and they can sue for tens of millions of dollars. Announced that July 5th, 2016. I'm going to upload this.